I am an American. I grew up in America. I go to school in America. I have rarely even traveled outside of America, and it is all I've ever known. Deciding to travel across the globe was a major decision for me. A decision I was nervous about, a decision I was excited for. Preparing for Spain was very anxiety-ridden for me. I knew nothing about the culture. I took Spanish in high school. Did I remember it? Will my homestay feel like home? How will I ever adjust? Stepping off the plane, everything was immediately different. Not bad different, but different. I walked off the bus and was greeted with kisses by my host mother. She quickly linked arms with me and rapidly spoke many Spanish words as I nodded my head. I hadn't a clue what I was nodding to, I just did. The cultural differences were immediate and apparent. The biggest facet of my experience that was different was simply the daily schedule as a student. In America, I roll out of bed, grab a bagel and a coffee, and go to class. Spain does not have as much of an on-the-go lifestyle. I sit down every morning here, I eat my breakfast, and drink my coffee. If I am a couple of minutes late to class, it is okay, because it is likely the other students and even the professor are as well. In school in America, tardiness is very looked down upon. Students and professors are punctual. Classes in the United States are larger and more lectured styled. It is often the professor is speaking and the students are just taking notes. In Spain, it is much more interactive. With smaller classes, students interact much more. Their participation weighs more on their grading. Next is lunch. In America, students usually take a break to eat lunch either at home or a place on campus. They could eat alone or with friends. It usually takes an hour. In Spain, lunch is a break from the day for relaxation. Nearly everyone returns home to eat with their families. Lunch takes a couple of hours. There's time to relax and spend with family. This was the hardest for me to adjust to. I'm not used to taking time out of my school day to return home and relax. I was also not used to lunch being the biggest meal of my day. Initially, it was hard for me to end my period of rest and return to diligency, but I have learned to appreciate taking time with my host family through my busy day. In the United States, students are very high-strung and obsessed with completing their work. I've been used to heading straight home after the library once my last class is finished to complete my homework. The after-school practices in Spain are truly refreshing. The strip of bars and cafes near my school here are packed with students, many of which are doing work with one another while simultaneously having a beer. Others sitting over a cup of coffee to relax after their final class. Additionally, in Spain there's an outdoor culture. People do not typically gather in their houses to spend time. They will go for a drink or sit outside a cafe to meet up. The streets are lively and always filled with people. This is one of my favorite parts of Spanish culture. It is simply more laid back than American culture. People know that time is fleeting and they choose to spend it with one another, not their head in a book. Dinner in the United States is the biggest meal of the day. It is a time where families sit down and debrief their days. I compare it to lunch in Spain. That is not to say dinners in Spain are not family-oriented. They just tend to be less food and shorter in length. They are, however, eaten much later than dinner is eaten in America. With dinner being much later and nightlife beginning later too, I find that days feel much longer in Spain. Time is spent well and never rushed. Meals are extended, classes are slower paced, people truly take time to relax, and it does not feel that the days turn to nights until much later in time. Days are elongated and truly taken advantage of in Spanish culture. Within the past 4 months, I have adapted to this once foreign culture. My worries are gone, and my only fears are now returning home and missing this new culture I have become acquainted with. I will step back onto that plane a changed person with a broadened view of the world and a new sense of respect and appreciation for Spain and its culture.